Recently, I hadn't talked to her in like a year, and she texted me out of nowhere. She was like, "Hey, do you still have that photo of my butt that I texted you while we were dating? Do you still have that photo of my butt?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, of course, yeah, yeah. Where would that have gone? Yeah, like you're not gonna throw away a gift, right? That's bad etiquette to do that." And she was like, "Cool, could you text it back to me?" Because I lost it. And I was like, all right. And I'm thinking about it, I'm like, why would she I was like, oh, I guess obviously she wants to text it to another guy, right? But it was not to be possessive or whatever, but it was for me. Right? But then I don't know, what is the etiquette? You know, it's her butt. You know. I can't, like, withhold it. So I put a watermark on it. I think that's fair, right? That's a good middle ground, no? Just a little Dan insignia there, you know? Just like a Getty image for asses, you know? I sent it back to her, and I was like, all right, I guess just, you know, CC me on the new guy. Right? Seems nice. And then she wrote back, she was like, thanks, would you mind not deleting that photo of my butt also? I was like, well, what if you lose it again? What? Who's watching your ass then, lady? My ex, we dated for a long time. When we were trying to salvage it, I was seeing a therapist at the time, and so I was like, oh, we could, like, talk about it, right? And so we went, but then she rejected that. She's like, well, that's bullshit, because your therapist, she's biased towards you, right? So then we went to her therapist, and her therapist sided with me. That's a great feeling, you know? To get a win on the road, that's not easy. That's very difficult. I was so cocky leaving that second. I was like, do you want to see a third therapist? I don't give a shit, all right? I will see 1,000 of them. Let's talk to your mom. Get her take. You think I'm intimidated? With a hot hand right now. That's fucking Steph Curry of emotional intelligence here. Clap if you're in therapy here. Some of you guys. And so, clap if you're a man in therapy. Okay, all right. Cool. And the rest of you guys are suffering. Yeah. Sorry to hear that, man. I'm sorry. Hope that void fixes itself. Damn. Maybe winning that fantasy league will cure it this time. I think this is the year. I do think this is the year. Who clapped? You clapped? Someone up here? You clapped? Yeah? Do you see a man, woman, or? Interesting. Huh. I couldn't do that. I tried seeing a man. That was my first therapist. I saw a man, and he would say shit to me, and I was like, well, yeah, but you're also broken. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what am I going to listen because you were broken first? Like, what is that? That does nothing for me. I see a woman. I stopped seeing the last one. I was seeing her for a while, and I stopped seeing her because this is totally true. She sent out an email to her clients to say she was going to be away for a week, but she didn't BCC her client. She put all of our emails on the thing. And so I saw that, and I was like, well, I'm going to reply all. And like, we're all firing her, right? This is... She put all of her emails on the thing, so I looked up every other patient instantly. Would you not? Like, you want to see, yeah, you want to see who you're in company with, right? Yeah. It was crazy. I don't know. I shouldn't be judgmental. I don't know. They were all losers. They were all complete losers. One of them was a musician, so I was like, oh, you'll listen to some of his songs. One of them was a professor, right? But he wasn't even tenured. You know, like, it was a bunch of nobodies. Like, this guy hadn't even proved his thesis to the people who hear that. So I had a session with her, my last session with her a couple weeks after that, and she addressed it. She's like, so I sent an email. And I was like, yeah, you put everyone's names on the thing. And then I was like, and I'll be honest, I looked everybody up. I looked all your patients up. And then she tried to get all therapist on me. She's like, well, that's interesting. Well, why do you think you would do that? It's like, because I'm mentally ill. What is... I'm unwell and this was presented to me. I don't know. not okay. I do miss, I don't know, well, I've at that age where all my friends have gotten married the last couple of years, and, man, I don't know. That's nice, I guess. I've had to go to so many weddings. This is a fun thing to do at weddings. Any of you guys can do this if you want and just entertain yourself, because I had to go to so many weddings where, I just was bored to tears. I went to one and I hardly knew anybody there, so I just needed to kill a day. Any of you guys can do this. I got very drunk and I went around and I started a rumor that I baked the cake. That's kind of fun, right? Any of you guys can do that. It's a harmless lie. There's something better than a harmless lie. I was at one wedding, man, I'm jealous of, female friendships. You guys are so nice to each other. I was sitting at a table at this wedding, and these two women were talking, and one woman, she said to her friend, she's like, oh, I feel like I don't look good. And the friend was, building her up so much. She was like, no, you look beautiful. You are beautiful. I was like, man, that is so sweet. I was like, if I'd ever say anything like that to a male friend, right? Like, if I were to be like, hey, I feel ugly. You'd be like, yeah, what? You are ugly. Yeah, did I not tell you that today? I meant to tell you that. You're extremely ugly, Dan. That's why you saved my phone as, right? You didn't think you were pretty, did you? You're not supposed to care how you look as a man. You're supposed to gain enough wealth and power that it doesn't matter how ugly you are, So nobody can call you ugly. They have to call you congressman. That's how it goes, right? We all get the process. I was talking to some friends, we were talking about what types we're attracted to, and my friend, he was like, I'm more attracted to women who are, naturally pretty, without wearing any makeup. That's a thing you often hear men say, and they say it like they're being, down to earth. Or humble, but if you think about it, that's really the highest standard you can have for any person. Just to be like, look, I'm a simple dude. All I'm asking for is genetic perfection, okay? It's like... What do you think of being picky? I don't need some dolled up Hollywood actress. I just want one of God's home runs. That's so crazy? I don't think that's unreasonable. Just pay me a masterpiece. Is that so? I do, man, I miss being a kid. It's really the best you're ever made fun of is when you're a kid. You don't really appreciate it at the time, But it's like, I watched that Tom Brady roast, and I'm like, man, it should have just been all 10-year-olds doing it. Kids are so mean. The best I was ever made fun of, I didn't appreciate it until years later, is I was in class, and I just went to the bathroom and came back. I must have been 11 years old. I just went to the bathroom and came back. That was all that happened. And I sat back down, and this kid who I thought was my friend, he announced to the class, he's like, Dan came back from the bathroom way too quick. And he started calling me One Wipe Dan. That's so brilliant. Because there's no defense for it. What am I to be like, no, I wiped a lot. There's no... 12 Wipe Dan is still embarrassing. There's no amount of wipes that a group of 10-year-olds are going to be like, that's fair. I think you nailed that one. Really quick, but this is my favorite play. I love doing shows here at Union Hall, and so please tip everybody. You come back a lot. But the last time I was here, it was a month ago. It's totally true. And after I did the show, this attractive girl comes up to me, and I was like, oh boy, she's going to probably make me date her or something, And here we go again. And she comes up to me, and she's like, I'm sure you get this all the time, but you look exactly like Michael Bublé. I don't know if you know what Michael Bublé looks like, but just picture a different face, I don't look like him. And I'm trying to spin it to a compliment for me, and I'm like, oh, and you find him attractive? And she's like, no, my mom does. So, she's like, my husband and I have been trying to find a Michael Bublé impersonator for her 60th birthday next week. And we haven't been able to find one for less than $10,000. And I was like, my rate is $9,950. This is a crazy coincidence. And she was like, you're kidding about that. I was like, I'm kidding about that, but I would do it for $8. I would do it for $8 grand, And she's like, okay, if you're serious, I'll send you the info, and you can do that. And so I give her my Instagram, and I figure she's going to wake up the next day, like, hungover, and be like, this fucking guy doesn't look like Michael Bublé. And instead, I get the info from her. She's like, we just want you to sing Feelin' Good and hang out for 30 minutes in character as Michael Bublé at Aquavit. It's like this 2-star Michelin restaurant, like this fancy place, and we'll pay you $8,000. And I was like, I've never been more in with anything in my life. I'm the most in. I've never been so on board for a thing. So I went, and I do it. And first of all, I went insane. You'll see a whole documentary about it. I met with my friend who's a singing teacher, and her words were, "I think you're cooked." Did like a Rocky training sequence, and then I go and I do the thing, and I'm just wearing a suit. And the woman tells me, she's like, you should wait up front so my mom doesn't see you. Because obviously, if her mom sees me, she would be like, well, okay, they hired a Michael Bublé impersonator, you know, like. So I went and I sing, and you guys, man, I fucking crushed. And so I sing it, so people are on their feet, and then afterwards, I don't know what I'm taking from this. I think everybody has amnesia or something. Everybody's in a coma. So everybody, first of all, was telling me how amazing it was, way more than any comedy show I've ever done. Me badly singing Michael Bublé gotten me more compliments than a decade of comedy. People were like, that was amazing. And then multiple people thought I was Michael Bublé. A woman walks up to me, she's like, what's your Instagram? And I'm in character, so I'm like, it's at Michael Bublé. And she's like, wait, what? And I type in Bublé's Instagram, and she looks at it, and then she looks at me, and she's like, it's really you? And she turns to her husband, she's like, it's really him. It's really Michael Bublé. And the husband's like looking at me, because he's clearly thinking like, no, it's not. But he's just insecure enough to not call it out. Do you know what I mean? He's like, I don't want to embarrass myself in front of Michael Bublé. Anyway, I gotta go. My name's Michael Bublé. Thank you so much. Bye.